All right, we're going to expand this sum starting from n equals 0 and ending at n equals 4. All right, so starting at n equals 0, we've got negative 1 to the 0 times x to the 0 over 0 factorial plus negative 1. So let's see, this was the n equals 0. Now we'll have n equals 1 here. So this will be negative 1 to the 1 times x to the 1 over 1 factorial plus this will be the n equals 2 term. So we got negative 1 squared times x squared over 2 factorial plus now we'll have the n equals 3 term, negative 1 cubed 3 factorial x cubed. And I'm running out of room, but I'll have enough room once we simplify things down. So this will be the n equal 4 term. You can think of this plus as just being like right there and this thing extending off the page. All right, so the n equals 4, you got negative 1 to the 4th times x to the 4th over 4 factorial. All right, you see what I did there? Right, this is the, you don't have to put these things in there, but I did this to kind of give you some understanding of where, so we're putting n equals 0, the n equals 0 term, we're putting that 0 in for n. That gives us this first term, n equals 1 in there, gives us the second term, 2, and so on. All right, so now let's simplify this. All right, so remember that 0 factorial is defined to be 1. 0 factorial is always 1. All right, so that means that we have a 1 there, we've got 1 there. X to the 0 is 1, and negative 1 to the 1 is 1. So this is a bunch of 1s multiplied together, divided by a 1. So this whole thing is 1. 1 there. Now let's see, negative 1 to the 1, that's negative 1. X to the 1 is 1. And 1 factorial is also 1. Okay, so this is going to be, let's see, I think maybe I'll write them down. So you have 1 there, plus there. This thing, right, we said was negative 1 to the 1 is negative 1, so that'll be a negative x. X to the 1 is 1, 1 factorial is 1, so that's that right there. Okay, now negative 1 squared, right, you could even think of it like this, right? So negative 1 squared, right, what does that turn into? That's just 1, right? Negative 1 cubed, right, that's a negative 1. Negative 1 to the 4th, that's just 1. So we got that there. Okay, so now adding this third term, now we got x squared over 2 factorial. X squared, 2 factorial is 2 times 1. Sorry about that. And we just started the number and 2 times 1. Okay, so 2 times 1, that's 2. So that's that right there. Okay, now moving on to this one, right? We found negative 1 cubed is negative 1, so that'll be a negative x cubed over 3 factorial. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, so that's 6. So that's over 6 there. And now we're going to have this last term in there, and we'll have plus x to the 4th over 4 factorial. 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. notice that this right here is exactly that right there. So this is equal to 4 times 6. 6 over 4 is 24. So that is our answer.